So, I recently read this really fascinating essay and also listened to the companion podcasts on Ayandastood's Soul Salon that talk about this concept of the ugliness of beauty or undoing beauty. And essentially, what the argument is that beauty in and of itself, and we're not talking about like the natural beauty when you look at a tree, we're talking about like conceptions of beauty between humans and the whole beauty industry. They rely on a very, very firm hierarchy of what is considered beautiful and what is not considered beautiful. And those tiers to the system then denote how much attention, time, love, money we give to specific people or specific things. Toni Morrison so thoughtfully talked about this in The Bluest Eye and in interviews that have gone viral since, in which she talks about how harmful it is for a child to internalize that if you only had some aspect of the white world, then you would be okay. So in that example, she's talking about this story of when she's a little girl and the baby dolls that are coming out at that time are all these little white baby dolls, and her friend like wishes and is praying to God for lighter skin because the message that she's receiving from corporations, from media, from movies is that white skin is what is desirable. Now, the corporatization of beauty when it comes to makeup, when it comes to the beauty hierarchy in fashion, always praises that which is closest to the white supremacist Eurocentric beauty standard. And even though we have made progress as a society, and there is the term quote unquote inclusive beauty, one of the things that Ayanda so thoughtfully and wisely talks about is the way that inclusive beauty is a misnomer because all it does is marginally extend what is considered beautiful. So if they include a dark-skinned black model, it is often a dark-skinned black model who is very, very thin. So they're still upholding some parts of the beauty hierarchy, which is thinness. If it is a queer model, it is often always a queer white model. So even though they might have sort of some intersections, the logic of the inclusion still reifies the false logic, I should say, of what the hierarchy is founded upon. And so what Ayanda so thoughtfully calls for in this essay is both the acknowledging of what this is, of what is happening, of this system that is being fed to us and that we are all complicit in because we have been raised in it, but also the call to action to dismantle this system. So while we can applaud the efforts of trying to increase what is considered beautiful, who is considered beautiful, and while that is a wonderful thing, the argument that you should have to be beautiful in the first place is what she so thoughtfully writes about. Why? Why do you have to be beautiful to make money? Why do you have to be beautiful to find love? Why do you have to be beautiful to be employed? Why do you have to be beautiful for people to pay attention to you on TikTok? All these different things. Beauty is it's this constant sense of currency and capital that runs through everything, and that so many people just take as like a natural part of our existence, like, oh yeah, we should all be aspiring to this. But then you look at the dark side of beauty, the ugliness of beauty, which she talks about so thoughtfully in Soul Salon, the way people are starving themselves, harming themselves with bleaching creams, with all these different things that people are doing to try to attain this top of the hierarchy. But why do we praise that hierarchy in the first place?